Greetings, y'all. It's Mr. Callow from South Carolina, and my final speech is welfare benefits and should you be drug tested for them. So my question to you is should you have to pass a drug test in order to receive welfare benefits? I believe that any United States citizen who is receiving benefits should successfully pass a drug test. An employer that requires an employee to be free of drugs as a condition of employment seems pretty fair. So why can't, the same requirement be in place for a person receiving welfare benefits? Why can't that be a condition for them to continue to receive benefits? I don't think that's very unfair. But welfare, freebies, handouts, or whatever the name you choose to label government assistance, the fact remains that this benefit is sorely needed by a lot of people in the United States. Government assistance, or welfare as it's called, it's a very broad term that encompasses many different assistance programs available in the United States. For example, food stamps, cash assistance, or TANF, and government housing, just to name a few. In recent years, there have been a lot of debates in courtrooms across the United States hashing out the legality and morality of pre-assistance drug screening. My intent here is to familiarize you guys, my audience, with a little bit of history on drugs in the United States, a few facts on welfare and drug testing in regards to assistance and eligibility, and persuade you guys to maybe be on my side of the fence in this debate. So without further ado, in 2013, it was reported that over 24 million people had abused drugs in the United States, which is like 9.4% of the population. And most estimates have found that 5 to 10% of folks on welfare have substance abuse problems, rates that are a few percentage points higher than those found in the general population. So based on those numbers, I think that kind of helps in my thinking of that welfare recipients should be drug tested. Couple main points I got are drug abuse is a serious problem in the United States. Did you know that 24.6 million people admitted to using drugs in 2013? The fact that there's a quote-unquote war on drugs here in America is a clear indication that there is a problem. And then in 2015, roughly 15,000 people just died from opioid use alone. And then our current president, President Trump, he's declared a national state of emergency in the United States due to the growing opioid crisis. And this declaration could offer states and federal agencies more resources and power to combat this epidemic. Point number 2. Welfare was designed to help those that are in need, not those with an addiction. Welfare was initially created in the 1930s by our President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And it was put in place to aid the nearly 60% of people living in poverty through no fault of their own, which is critical in exploring the idea of welfare-supported drug use. The welfare system was maintained to aid those who are currently unemployed, underemployed, have a disability, or facing hardship, not to fund drug habits. TANF, or the cash benefits portion of welfare, it was used to serve as a temporary assistance in which recipients are working towards becoming self-sufficient, often seeking employment in the private sector. And the welfare programs themselves are the intrusion. Drug testing, where appropriate, is a common sense measure to minimize the abuse and restore a measure of personal responsibility of the welfare system. Point number 3, drug testing could save the states a lot of money in the long run. It may not seem like it like right now, but so for instance, there are individuals currently on welfare who rely on the cash benefits to support their drug habits. And as I mentioned before, it's an estimated 5 to 10% who receive that assistance that they are your drug abusers. And in the first year of testing, Florida saved $198,400 on paid out cash benefits, and that number is projected to increase in the coming years. At least 17 states had proposals in 2016 to address substance abuse and drug testing for welfare programs. Of those 17 states, Arkansas passed a state bill, which is Senate Bill 123, making their drug testing program permanent. And then an interesting point I found in doing my research, it was like on this web page called Michael's House. It pointed out that if welfare recipients aren't abusing drugs, then the drug testing will actually kind of serve to remove some of the stigma that is implied of drug addiction that many assume without even drug testing. So, and then let's see what else. Some states have put into their legislation that individuals who receive treatment after basically popping positive on a drug test may apply for benefits as soon as 6 months after their initial request for benefits, assuming that they've completed a drug rehabilitation program. And then states allowing for people to retest after treatment may encourage them to remain clean to obtain the assistance that they truly need. So, in conclusion, based on the evidence presented, drug abuse is a serious problem that is plaguing the United States. Welfare was designed to help those truly in need and not those with an addiction. And drug testing those receiving cash assistance could benefit the states by saving money and not supporting the drug habits of those with addiction issues. It would also open the door for drug users to receive help from their addiction. Drug testing, where appropriate, is a common sense measure to minimize the abuse and restore a measure of personal responsibility to the welfare system. It's past time to ensure that the United States, that their limited resources are going to those truly in need. Thank you very much.